Good day, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you are around this planet called Earth, right? Whether you're from South America, whether you're from London, whether you're from, Prague, whether you're from Beijing, whether you're from Tokyo, Perth, Melbourne, New Delhi, Mumbai, Cairo, Abidjan, Yamoussoukro, Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town, Dar es Salaam, Lusaka, Buenos Aires, New York, Miami, Los Angeles, Mexico City, Sinaloa, Bogota, wherever you are, Rio de Janeiro, good day. Welcome to Football is a Religion. I am Bubesi Mpati Omhlaba, okay? Which means the conqueror of earth. Welcome again to another episode of Football is a Religion. Right, so let's get straight to it. Group C. Group C, right? That's where we at. We've already discussed the opening games that took place in Group A, right? As well as Group B. We've covered that one. So let's get straight to Group C. What happened in Group C? Which were the games that took place? Let's get straight to it. Senegal took on Gambia. It's like when Senegal takes on Gambia, it's like more or less a South Africa versus Lesotho encounter. Or a South Africa versus Swaziland encounter. Okay? Reason being is because Gambia is basically a small nation that is located in Senegal. Okay? It's really it's literally located in Senegal. It's like Lesotho's position in South Africa, right? Lesotho is basically a kingdom perhaps known as a country which is situated in South Africa, just by the Free State border. Okay? And same thing with Gambia. So obviously Gambia has got a population of about more or less 2 million people. Okay? So it's pretty much small. It's a pretty small country, pretty small nation, right? So yeah, but situated within Senegal. Right. So let's get straight to the encounter that took place between these two sides, which is indeed Senegal as well as Gambia. The Gambia, okay? Right. These countries are situated on the northwestern side of Africa. Very hot. They're very hot. Conditions, they are very hot. It's very hot. Just like in Ivory Coast, West Africa is very hot, ladies and gentlemen. West Africa doesn't often experience much rainfall, okay? So it shouldn't really shock you. But yeah, West Africa is very hot. Okay. So we're not going to do a geography lesson today. Okay, so I'll teach you guys about that all in the near future, but not now, right? Let's focus on football. That's what football is. That's what we're all about here. That's why I said football is a religion. So let's put our focus solely on the football. What happened on the 11 arena, on the pitch, all right? So Senegal kicked off their Afcon title defense with an impressive 3-0 victory over 10-man Gambia, right? In their opening 2024 Afcon fixture on Monday, right? I'm not sure why they say it's the 2023 African Cup of Nations when it's actually taking place in 2024, but I think CAF will explain to us, right? They haven't really given us a clear, valid explanation. But yeah, it is known as 2023 African Cup of Nations. But it's taking place in 2024, which is January, right? So yeah, I mean, LECC's side underlined their status, right, as one of the pre-tournament favorites, obviously because they are the defending champions, in a way that Egypt, Nigeria, as well as Ghana, they could not do in the opening weekend of the finals in the Ivory Coast. Remember, Egypt, Ghana, as well as Nigeria all failed to win their first games, right? So, with Pape Gueye, swept home like the Senegalese took the lead, right? Thanks to Pape Gueye, he swept home a precise opening goal just after 4 minutes to set Senegal well on course for victory over their neighbors, who were surprised, who did make it to the quarterfinals, surprisingly 2 years ago in 2021 when the tournament took place in Cameroon. Oh, by the way, yes, I just got a reminder. Sorry, I just got a reminder. Reason why it is the 2023 African Cup of Nations is because remember, um, the African Cup of Nations that took place in 2021 was supposed to take place in 2020. Unfortunately, it couldn't take place in 2020, the finals in Cameroon, due to the fact that the COVID pandemic affected proceedings. So that's why now they had to like switch dates. They had to postpone the tournament, and it had to be played in actually 2022, right? Yeah, it had to be played in 2022. So it was supposed to be played in 2021, but due to the pandemic actually affected so much, which led to the tournament being postponed to 2022, January 2022. I'm talking about the finals that took place in Cameroon, right? So now, obviously, this current tournament was supposed to take place around this time last year in 2023. But because of that delay and that postponement, and because of the disaster of the global pandemic, obviously everything had to be shifted forward and postponed. Okay? So yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, we get straight back to the action on the field. At the end of the first half, Gambia were reduced to 10 men, unfortunately. So this actually made, life more difficult for the Gambians. Okay? So they had a serious mountain to climb. Ebue Adams was sent off for a high challenge, leaving Gambia with a mountain to seriously climb, in the challenging heat, as well as, the high rise of humidity in the city of Yamoussoukro. Okay? And then in the second half, we saw Lamine Camara, who was the star of the show. Lamine Camara, the 20-year-old youngster. Star of the show. In the second half, you understand, he gave Senegal a 2-0 lead. You understand? The 20-year-old midfielder, drilled in, a low finish to make it 2-0 shortly after the restart. But it was his second goal that made the headlines, as the Mets youngster, bended home a stunning first-time strike from the edge of the area. What a great goal that is. Perhaps a serious contender for goal of the tournament. A serious contender for goal of the tournament. And obviously this result means that it leaves Senegal firmly on course for the knockout stages, right? As they do face off Cameroon in their next match in Group C. And that could be a potential decider on who will top this, Group C, right? Well, as for the indomitable Lions, Cameroon, they were held to a 1-1 draw against Guinea. In a match held at the Yamoussoukro Stadium, Cameroon, achieved a hard-fought 1-1 draw against Guinea. I don't know why was that supposed to be hard-fought. But like I said before, this is the African Cup of Nations. You can never underestimate your opponents, right? You can never take your opponents for granted. Irrespective of whether you the highly fancied, team coming into this tournament, into an African Cup of Nations tournament, that does not necessarily mean that you can just be complacent. That does not necessarily mean that you should undermine your opponents. Whether they are the least favored, whether they are the least fancied, does not really count at all. On paper, that counts, but on the field of play, where everything matters, it does not count at all. It's the performance that matters. I mean, it was actually Guinea, that took an unexpected lead just 10 minutes in, as they capitalized on some woeful defending from Olivier Kemen. That was some woeful defending from Cameroon. I don't understand what was he doing. He should have just cleared his lines. Cameroon failed to clear the danger, after a shot was saved and Kemen buckled under pressure as he knocked the ball towards Mohamed, Bayo, right? Who fired in the opener for Guinea. That was a shock opener, right? And then from that point onwards, surprisingly, yes, things started to work in favor of the 5-time champions, Cameroon. As now things got tough for Guinea later in the half, as Francois Komano was sent off for a nasty challenge. And it took a long time for Cameroon to actually capitalize on the one-man advantage, but eventually they did manage to capitalize on the numerical advantage 5 minutes into the second half, as George, Kevin Nkodu's excellent cross found, Frank Magri at the back post as the attacker headed in his first team's shot on target. That was Cameroon's first shot on target, and it took them so long to actually do that. It shows how Cameroon have been poor in the entire game. Yes, the man advantage actually helped them a bit, but they've been poor throughout the game. There was also off-the-field drama with regards to Andre Onana. Remember Andre Onana? He played for Manchester United in the Premier League game against Tottenham in the 2-2 draw. And he landed in Ivory Coast on a private jet. And unfortunately, he was not selected. And which, made him go mad, made him go nuts. He was just not happy with that. Andre Onana. But I mean, come on, Onana, I'm sure you're tired. You must have been exhausted. Yes, I get the fact that you flew on a private plane. But look, you will obviously play in the next game, in the big one against Senegal. There's no need for you to overreact, my brother. We love you. I'm a big fan of yours. We all are a big fan of yours. You understand? But there was no need for you to overreact. Okay? You will play in the game against Senegal. Of course, you're the #1 goalkeeper. Your spot is guaranteed. So there's no need for you to overreact. Luckily, the team didn't lose the game, right? Your absence didn't really affect the team that much. Unfortunately, they could have won the game, but with the man advantage. But, Cameroon, they kept the ball in Guinea's half for the rest of the game. They just could not find a way. They could not find a way through until the 88th minute of the game. I remember when, Carl Toko Ekambi, had a shot saved. So, yeah, man, Cameroon really not convincing at all. Really not convincing at all. But we wait to see. We wait to see in the game against Senegal if they can prove us wrong.